Hello, everybody. Today is Friday, and you already know what time it is. It is time for Arts and Heart, this show, and you're joined by me, yours truly, Victoria and Katha from Responding to Life and Arts and Heart. Now, we are here today to bring you an amazing show. Like always, we don't disappoint, and I hope you won't disappoint in joining us, tagging your friends to come and watch what we have prepared for you today. Now, today's topic, the art in film. We are joined by our lovely guest from last week as we're doing part two of directing, producing, storyboarding, and scripting. Now, you already know that I cannot do this alone. I am joined by the one and only, the marvelous, the handsome Mr. Likriani Eli. Now, hello, Eli. How are you?
Good evening, Vicky, and welcome to the show. Everybody that is watching tonight, my name is Likuyani Elias. Always a pleasure to be with you, Victoria. You are looking beautiful tonight, and I hope we are going to do as many
Okay.
scripts as we can tonight because I would love to be casted in the same script with you by my side.
Ellie, you're already making me blush, surely. Na leo hata sijafanya makeup and all that kind of thing. I'm just here, in a t-shirt. Kumbe mnapendaga natural. The only thing that you mean is for me to, do some things. But
No,
anywho,
no, Chris Kagia and Mutoriah already said it for me. I want. And everybody that hasn't actually got to watch that, you can head out to YouTube, look for the song I Want by Chris Kagia featuring Mutoriah, and like the song, and if possible, share with your
Mhm.
friends. So let me just take this moment to introduce one of the gentlemen that was on fire last week. His name, none other than Captain Derrick Waswa.
Yes, hello everyone.
Good
I
evening to you,
hope you
Derrick.
guys are great. Yes, I'm fine and I'm happy to join you and interact with you guys. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Victoria, the honors of welcoming the
Thank
second guest.
you. Thank you very much. Now, this is a firecracker, a fireball. Who was very interesting last week, came up with some interesting opinions, and it can be none other than Mr. Xavier. Good evening, Mr. Xavier.
Good evening. How you guys doing?
We are good, and you're looking good. Lakini naona you are representing Chelsea. I know y'all did the 10, but we are Manchester in this house, please. We are Manchester people in this house.
Whose
Ellie, shall
house?
we continue? Shall we continue with this? Naniruka.
You want to
Ah,
make room?
There are some things we can agree on and some we cannot. For example, that script was not agreed upon. We didn't agree that we are going Manchester here. And anyway, all said and done, tonight we are discussing the art of film. And just to start us off, Xavier, we didn't have time enough last week to actually go into storyboarding. So, what exactly is storyboarding and how does it go about? If you can take us through.
Okay. Again, thank you so much for having us. Well, simply put, a storyboard is a graphic display of what you intend to shoot. For instance, if you're doing an advert and you want to have an easy way, probably the sequence and how you want to talk to have the DOP bringing in the shots that you need. Storyboard will come in handy. Now, these are just pictures, most of all drawn. If you have a good artist who does them, some people go on the internet to download pictures of the intentions that they want, and then they're displayed. So this one, it can cut down in terms of budgeting because when you have a storyboard, it makes things move faster because you know what you need to do. And like if you're having so many scenes in a certain product, people overlook at storyboarding in movies mostly. But when you see it's very common when you're doing commercials, so that you can get those perfect angles and the intention probably what does the client want. For instance, if Chelsea want a commercial done, and they will give a brief. Yeah, they'll give
you
not a
had
check.
you had to use Chelsea. You had to use Chelsea. Are you trying to
Now,
fight today? Are you trying to
I
fight? Xavier,
was
are you
trying to
trying
do.
to fight?
I was trying to look around. Okay, let me say, art in heart. Want to do a
Yes.
PVC. Yeah. So you probably, let's say, Victoria, you're going to give a brief to the director of what you want. Probably you're not a professional when it comes to shooting. You don't understand those procedures. So you give the brief to a director or a producer. They'll sit down and bring what is in your mind in terms of a script. Now, once a script is done, there's the director who has interpreted your brief. Now, once he has interpreted what you want, and probably want a shot of a laptop and all that, they'll be put in a sequence in terms of graphics. They'll be drawn, and then they'll be displayed. Now, this will be brought to you as the boss for the project, yeah, the client, and you have to approve. This is what I want. This is one. So it is easier for you now to have a rough idea of what the final product will look like. So once you have that in mind, you can approve so that they can go and shoot. And this also, it goes down to the editor. The editor also needs this sequence and probably the intention what the director wants to be put on screen. So when he has all these shots, it makes it easy for him to have a very fast and effective way of editing to give you what you really wanted.
Wow, that's awesome. And I know that Director Waswa has been seated there listening to you to see if you're messing up with the content. But I believe he agrees with one or two of the things you've said. Derrick, quickly, if you can just give a rejoinder to that. Once you have received these, what we call the storyboards, how then do you now actualize this and then say, now tunaenda kwa set? Would you say I will start shooting immediately, or there are some things you'll start with? That's when we talk about the stages of production.
Well, when we talk about the stages of production, immediately after we get our storyboard, there are three main stages of production, which are basically pre-production, production, and post-production. And maybe so that I just break down into the elements of production so that people understand what pre-production and post is. Pre-production is actually the preparation before the actual production, and partly the creation of the storyboard is in pre-production because it's like preparation. So in pre-production, there are various things that usually happen, and pre-production is the most important element of production because once you mess in pre-production, then high chances is that production and post-production may turn out not as expected as you visualized initially. So in pre-production, you'll talk about story development or conceptualization of whatever you want to do. And then still in pre-production, you'll have the storyboard that comes up immediately after scripting is done. And then once scripting is done, pre-production also entails things like producers will go to look for the crew in case it's not a one-man's production, and which includes hiring of crew, auditioning, casting, then script read-through, and all that, including location scouting. All that falls in pre-production. So a lot that is involved also in pre-production is issues of how you are going to do scheduling of your shoot, so that you may realize your scripts has several locations. So in pre-production, you also prepare your call sheet so that you are able to know who will appear when and where and at what time, so that you are also able to capitalize maximally on the available resources at a particular point. So I think pre-production is a bit covered well. Then we go to production. Production is actually the actual shoot, which entails the availability of a cast, crew, directors. Sometimes producers are also present. And when I talk about crew, I'm talking about the extreme from executive producers to the cameraman, to the sound people, to the gaffers, to the DOPs, to every person, including the cast. So production is now when you're on location. And then when you're on location, you are able to shoot whatever you want to shoot in the specified manner, of course, guided by the directors who are present and their peers. Once production is done, we wrap. So that is the other stage of that finishes production. It's called a wrap. And then from production, we go to post-production. So post-production will entails editing, and this is just the cutting of the material and selection of shots that are most relevant to your piece of craft that you want to be to appear on screen. Editing is done by, of course, the editor with the guidance of the director, and sometimes we find DOPs are also present to just assist here and there. But basically, the editors do the rough cut, then the directors come and do the first preview, and then they can be able to do the final cut. And then still in production, we have people like colorists who come and do something called color grading to the preferred kind of texture in terms of color, so that your images are film look or maybe just natural look, or maybe there are various preferences that clients have. And then after, still in post-production, we once the final product is out, there is a preview that is done by, of course, the producer and the director. Mostly the director is in charge of the final preview. And then you export your product. Exportation is done, then still in post-production, there's something called packaging and distribution. That is where you have posters designed in case you are doing maybe premieres of films. In case you are doing maybe adverts, you may need people of graphic design and maybe animations to also come through, who come in post-production to assist. So you realize that all these departments are key in terms of the way the flow of events happen in film production. So just in case you wanted to gather just pre-production, production, and post-production, before, during, and after. That is the simplest way to remember the stages of production.
Thank you very much, Mr. Derrick. And that's quite intensive and very, very well detailed. Now, Mr. Xavier, I'd like to ask you a question. Now, when it comes to casting, we've heard about casting. How does one select and decide on the cast?
Sorry about that. To begin with, the first step is going through the script. As a writer, once you've presented your script to the director and the producer, what takes place next is now to define those characters. There's a discussion that happens whereby you start criticizing that particular piece that you've been given, and then criticism includes also positive, yeah. And one of the things that is critiqued is a character. And these characters are done in different ways. Probably we'll have something called, which is so common, called typecasting. Typecasting is what we were doing last time when someone said we need someone to act as someone who sells charcoal, you know. So you look at Victoria and you're like, Victoria cannot, it doesn't look like a charcoal seller. But again, you come down to ask yourself, is it about the looks or how that person can act? So, or probably you want a witch, you want a witch doctor, and you see Ellie and the hair is a perfect, Ellie's coming. You know, that's typecasting, you see? Because definitely if you want a devil, you go looking for the blackest
Another thing, he
person.
comes from the lawyer. Exactly, which fits in again for him. You know, he also comes from what?
Yeah,
You
the
know, I
juju
could be
guy.
fired. Anyway, continue. I don't want to lose my job. I don't want to lose my job.
Yeah, so one of the things that it is not really recommended to do typecasting, and I'm sorry, that's one of the most common practices in Kenya. That's why we get the same actors acting in different places. There are guys who have been condemned. They'll always act as criminals. If you're doing a script and there's a tag, they'll just be like, pigia Derrick Waswa simu hapa tena. So you happen Derrick Waswa is all movies. So this guy cannot walk in town because akitembea already police wanasema huyu jamaa anakuwa criminal. We have some guys who, like my friends Collins Likavo, in all the shoots that he does, is a policeman. And this guy goes to an extent now, even he was telling us, police actually salute when they see him, because of the impression that they get that this guy has always been, so he's been typecasted that way. And it's not usually recommended because, again, in terms of personal development of an actor, it is not wise because an actor is supposed to be challenged to do different roles. But again, it's not really bad. When you go to like Hollywood, you'll find that there's some characters whenever they're doing say a drug trafficking movie. There's one person that will always pop out, and is so common everywhere. If you want to pick Jesus, you have to look for someone with a beard, someone who looks like Jesus I don't know how Jesus looks like. So that's typecasting. So,
just
but
for the record, he's black. Just for the record, he's black.
yes,
Continue.
yeah, and sadly, everything that has been done, they say Jesus is white. I don't know why. So we have all those types. Then we move to what I always advise someone to do, what we call auditions. Yeah, auditions are the best way to do it. And I'm like this during this pandemic, it has been used so much using the wide web. You send your definition. So as I had explained before, you discuss with the director. The director discusses the writer, probably to understand what the writer really wants, and the producer. And once they've come up and created these characters in their minds, they put them on paper. You now display it probably to the public. Like, I want a charcoal seller, and you define your charcoal seller. I want the charcoal seller to be beautiful, because at some point probably there's this Alejandro that will come to buy charcoal and then fall in love with that person. So your intention at the end is that the charcoal person, yeah, should be looking like a poor person, but some beauty inside, the diamond in the rough. Yeah, that kind of casting is always the best. So once this the descriptions have been given, I want a 45-year-old, someone who's between 16 to 20, all those are defined now. You as a character, now Victoria, I want someone who's between 16 to 18. Then you're like, I'm 17. I can pick this. So you apply for that. You send your pictures. Yeah. So after sending your pictures, the reason for sending your pictures probably is first to get the initial intention, like first step. They look the part. Now the pictures are sorted, and people are given what we call a callback now to go for the audition. The audition. Some people ask you to probably record it, like during COVID. You record your presentation. They give you some lines, and you
Your
create your
script,
own.
right?
Yes, the script. So once that is done, probably they'll want now to get the physical attribute, because thanks to things called masks and filters, yeah, because you'll probably look like a light skin, then you go there, you look like me. So you have not to go there physically for them to see that this is the person we need. And that one beautiful thing about auditions are it can change the mindset of the director, because probably this is the intention they had, and probably because of your ability in acting, you go there. So some people go and change the intellectual, or probably the intention that was had before, and like this one, it doesn't fit the description. But again, I think the acting, or his or her acting, is like super, and I think we can change our vision about the character.
Yes. And Xavier, right before, I have a few follow-up questions, especially on a few things in our film industry, regarding casting. But before then, I'd love Ellie to take us on a break, please. Thank you. And we'll be back right after the break.
Right back.
this specifically can be a tourist attraction.
Hii kimila ni ngumu sana.
Kuacha kimila.
It's very mysterious.
It's not safe.
There's no science.
For me, I don't trust them.
Hizi kusikia uchungu.
Siwezi.
Yes, welcome back. My name is Likuyani, and before we continue, that is a very interesting film that being produced by one Derrick Waswa, who is actually on the panel tonight, and later on we'll be looking at what Xavier has been doing, even when he's not here on Art in Heart. Alongside me, it is one Victoria and Kata, looking all bubbly and lovely as always. Victoria, you know where I'm going to cast you tonight?
Where?
Where utakuwa mama mwenye anaenda kwa Baba Zero. But we'll tell you what Baba Zero did. Do you know Baba Zero by any chance?
No, I don't know Baba Zero, Ellie. Tell me who Baba Zero is or what Baba Zero is.
It's all right. I don't want to be named here as a fossil. But let's get to the comment section, Vic, if you want to take us there, please,
Yes,
so that we can get
please
this
go
going. Yes.
Dij Pati. Huyu ni mwindi amejipaka rangi ya black hapo. Anasema in. The name and the face don't look alike. Kipro Roger says good evening. Hi, good evening, Kipro. Nori Nambata, Victoria Katambona unakampole leo. Do you some days you need to chill, and others you need to, Honorable Esom Sunny says, I like comedy, but I don't really know how to start. Please help me. Serikali saidia serikali. Derrick na Xavier saidia. Anataka saidizi. Ido Koi says, Likuyani Eli, I've just landed. Unaona hawa watu hawa. I've just landed. Sawa tumefika. Pirangoko said, I actually thought typecasting is a good thing. Well, I'm learning here. And I'm learning as well. So thank you very much, Pirangoko, for always tuning in. Now, really, as we are about to continue, I would love to bring on Xavier because I have just a follow-up question on the casting, especially with our people in the Kenyan film industry. And Mr. Xavier, sir. Now, just before we go on to the next section, I would love to just give a clear, or rather have an idea of what goes on in our casting industry, because we see there are certain people who are casted as the funny best friend, while we know notable faces that are casted as the hot girl, and then we know some other notable faces that are usually casted as the hot boyfriend or the husband. Now, is it because, and I know once I say this, a lot of people can already pick, and it shouldn't be like that. That is how it's not supposed to be, because already, I'm sure somebody will already say, yeah, this is the person who's casted at this is the person who's casted at this, even without me dropping names. Is it because we lack a variety of talent? Because going off of what you said, typecasting and sometimes this casting is dangerous because there's no growth. But on the other side, if you look at it, is it also because we lack a variety of talent? Because that may be the case. So please tell us.
If I may say, we don't lack talent. I will take you through the journey that probably as a director or a writer that I've experienced. We started the Kenya National Drama Festivals. And it's always a big shock when people come to this festival. And, the impression out there is that maybe the acting at the drama festival, I am coming to beat you. That's the impression people have. And comedians have really used it so much. Then someone comes, I like bringing in my friends who have that impression. In fact, I was telling Jalango, I really want to bring him to one of the festivals. Yeah. Too bad Corona happened. So I said I needed to bring him to watch it, because you come there and watch and you're like, what the hell is going on? You know, some of these products of the festival that managed to get through, thanks to guys like Derrick Waswa, who uses most of his students, and I think I've taken a lead from that. Personally, I have over 70 cast members, or say artists that I need to utilize, that I have recruited from the various sources in the country. We have abundance when it comes to talent. Now the issue comes in, for instance, let me play the devil's advocate. One, Derrick Waswa wants to do a pilot. He doesn't have the resources. He doesn't have enough. And when he goes to Xavier, and he's like, Xavier is my friend. Hey, Xavier, I'd like you to be in my show. I'm doing a pilot like this, but I don't have money. I'll definitely go ahead and be like, hey, let's do this, yeah. And when the show goes through, Derrick will feel indebted to me, and then he will be like, no, Xavier did this for free. Let him go on and act in this particular shoot. And probably this is a tradition that will go on. You know, like when you're doing a pilot, you like, let these people did it, do the same. Because if I now go to Ellie, Derrick goes to Ellie, Derrick doesn't know Ellie. Ellie is a very good actor. And Ellie knows I'm in this business to be paid, you know. But if Ellie's friend probably asks to be in the pilot, Ellie would say yes. But now he doesn't know Derrick Waswa. Derrick Waswa will come and ask, he has to pay him. So we create a clique of friends.
And
yeah?
he's very expensive.
Yes. So there's a clique of friends that has been formed. Okay. Like we are 10 of us, and partly I'm guilty of that, you know. And you'll find these people always doing the same productions, like they owe each other. And you'll find that these cast members that are acting are also, and let's not mention names, but you'll find that probably this Xavier Nato, who is in this particular show, and we are in that show with Derrick Waswa and Ellie. In the next show, probably Ellie will be doing a production. He'll end up calling the same people, like, I owe you a favor, you did this for me, let me do this for you. That's what I've experienced. There's this other thing whereby it is the producer who needs certain clique of actors. For instance, I want to do a web series, and I know Ellie has over 100,000 followers. You know, even if you're a poor actor, I want you there. You know, so I bring Ellie.
So ideally, what you're saying is we have stopped looking at the ability of an actor or those creatives, and now it has become more of the following that comes with that creative. Is that what you do, Derrick?
It depends. What Xavier said is actually very true, and it's actually applying to very many productions. You'd really require a pilot project to pitch in a station so that you can be able to be commissioned. And the process of preparing a pilot project is quite expensive unless you're having your friends and people believe in you volunteering to come and assist you do the pilot. In most cases, you would realize that you would reach out to somebody who you feel comfortable telling, are you able to commit your time and energy and skill to assist me do this thing? Should it succeed, and then we'll be able to benefit all of that. But there are other instances where you have a client who has specified persons that they're in mind. For instance, let's say Arts in Heart want to do an advert about whatever they do, and then the management decides we would want to use this kind of influential person to do this. So in as much as you are doing an audition, there is a set mind already from the management that there's a specified personnel that they are looking for, who, if they don't get, then they'll opt for plan B. So that is why you find some of the auditions people would say that they were bureaucracy. Basically, it's just looking for the best and also opening up for plan B should there be any failure from plan A. And then there are also instances where we have a group of personnel who have been working together, and then for a while after they have been working together, they took maybe a break, and then they feel like, let's do something together. So they commission, they come and solicit funds in a particular project, and it works out. In such a scenario, you wouldn't expect them to come and picking any other person, yet it is their investment. In short, what you're talking about production in Kenya is somebody's passion and interest. They are their boss. They decide what to do with what they and how they want their production to go. Should they want to go the audition way, it is upon them, provided it's successful and it makes them happy. So there are various ways. There are others who are picked by sheer luck. You'd be walking just in town and there is a shoot going on, and maybe the cast has not turned out, and then you are asked, can you act? There are people who have started going into the industry by sheer luck. You just find yourself at the National Theatre. Maybe you had gone to visit or even a show, and then you realize, oh, there's an audition. Then you pop in. Then out of that, you find that you're the one who will be selected. So in short, it is not cast on stone that you must go for an audition for you to be selected to go to a TV program. As a matter of fact, for the past like 1-2 years, it is very rare to hear somebody say, I went to the National Theatre and I was selected. It has reached to a point where there are closed auditions. Closed auditions mean there are specific people who are attending, so that the producers don't need to have 1,000 people when they are just looking for 3 people.
So those specific people,
Yeah.
it's you and Xavier that create that clique of friends and friends
Of
of
course,
friends. That's what
somebody
you're trying.
No. Somebody will recommend somebody that they know they are professional and they will not disappoint when it goes to professionalism, timekeeping, and actually workmanship. So you'll find that there are most people who are surviving in the industry. They have had a clear track record of quality performance and discipline on set. Where then mostly in disciplined thespians, you'll find they will do 1, 2, 3 gigs, and people shun away from working with you because they find you are problematic, or maybe you are just a time waster.
I'm interested in that area you just mentioned. And I know we are really dealing on casting because I know there are a lot of young people that are coming up and they would love to be appearing on screen. And some of the questions that have been raised include the discipline area. Xavier, I know at one time you mentioned to me that some people were pointing and saying words behind your back that unaangaisha madem ndio wape job. Have you been in such cases as directors? And if so, are these accusations actually true?
Wacha ninywe kopo la maji. That is a hot topic. And Derrick will agree. Derrick will agree that we have very many, not just 1 or 2, very many producers, including female, who ask for sexual favors from these young boys and girls to have them cast. And you'll find that, and I can say this candidly, 90% of these young people who are taken through that miss out those chances. Very few actually get to those points because utapata mtu there's someone called a casting agent, for instance. I'm casting for your show. Umenipatia kazi, my work is getting you actors. And I'm using that position to because now I'm in the Likuyani show, casting agent. I'm getting actors, so I'm taking advantage of probably women. Yeah, and at the end of the day, that is not what is. If you remember, we go back. We go back to what the director wants and what the producer wants. This is the information that is given to a casting agent. We want someone who looks like this. He has this kind of character. Someone who has this round face or horse face. You know, you will be taken through that. I'll call it molestation because it's not like it's in your heart. You're doing it to get a favor. So and you'll end up not getting that position. That's one thing I'd like to candidly say. And again, back to where we were talking about, whereby you find a certain actor, like Derrick has said, yeah, there's an actor that you know that if I call today, this night, I tell that person I need you tomorrow for a certain shoot at this particular time, that person will turn up on time. And that person will ensure that he does everything before he leaves. Then there's this other character that comes on set, and you're like, why the hell did they even bring this person in the first place? So you'll find Victoria, who's very, very disciplined, comes on set on time, finishes her shoots and everything, and want to work with that person again. You get? So there's that point. Now, because Victoria is beautiful, and I'm always happy when she's actually, I'm just smiling, I'm like, wow. Then there's this Negro that is somewhere just standing, probably doing some other work. And I notice vile naangaliaga huyu actress that, hey, we notice anamuitanga sana, and that will come through. And I can tell you, there's a time, that's why I don't like rumors nowadays. Kitambo huwa napenda udaku sana. But after I was a victim of udaku, whereby you can find someone who goes and says, I give this person, these ladies, some roles because I'm having 1, 2, 3 things with them. You understand? So it happens, and probably we cannot shun away from it. It's something that is there. And if there are some youths that are watching, especially those from high school, victims, and they are very, very excited. They are hungry to be. Okay, tu mtoto mwenye maza form 4, I can put you on screen. You understand? Atafanya kitu unataka. They are so excited because now the world of social media, when you're in a certain show, umeenda kwa show ya Derrick Waswa, it's ranking high, people will see you, you're going to get followers, So we need maybe some session whereby before these kids get engaged into the professional world, some bit of counseling, if you ask me. And that's what I usually try to do with most of the guys I work with at Miller's. Yeah, to talk to them, make them understand how the world is. We can meet for a rehearsal, and I dedicate the entire rehearsals just talking to them. I can get some celebrities that I know. I'm blessed, at least nilikuwa mahali, so I know 1 or 2 people. I bring them to a session. There's a time I brought in Shiti. He talked to these guys for like 3 hours, and they were like realizing all those things that I had told them. So it's just like rubber stamping whatever I've told them. So there's this very important, and I'm sure Dero does the same, because he uses most of the students from KU or ZTech or something, So there's this session whereby you, as a director, you need to counsel these people. That's all I can say about sex in the industry.
I will ask one more to Derrick, and then I'll allow Victoria to shoot her shots because she has quite a lot. Derrick, Xavier has just put out that, and he says there's a lot that happens which we can call sex scandals in the industry. As a director and somebody that has been in production, what role then do you play to actually safeguard the safety of these young people that are coming, despite the counseling sessions? What then do you do?
One, you first of all have to understand that these are very competitive industry, and sometimes you would expect that while you are doing great job, there is somebody else who is intentionally planning to tarnish whatever you're doing. And being a competitive world, if one gets, the other one loses. Whoever loses will tarnish either the directors or producers name in the name of alipewa sababu of this and that. I've personally directed plays in university for over 10 years, and I have had a privilege of being consistent in terms of my style and the awards that I get. And for those 10 years, I've been lucky enough to encounter over 5 generations of different characters and actors. Most of the time, the problems arise from even the cast themselves. Sometimes it's peer pressure, and sometimes you'd find that it's just intentional malice. And also sometimes you'd find there are directors who actually do that, and they're human beings, but it is unfortunate to use that position to take advantage of that. But essentially, the whole point is, as a producer or director, there are various challenges that you are faced in. When you're dealing with especially the young upcoming characters, and who mostly feel are inefficient in terms of the craft, they will try and lure the management into some sort of arrangement, so that you to solicit favor. You ignore, you may need to advise, or sometimes you shun them from the production, which even worsens because they go and say, this is what happened. You know, and as a producer and a director, you know what, you're not going there to cancel people on sex. You're going there to do work. You know, these are competitive festival, and a single day can change everything. So what you do is spare a little bit of time and advice. Tell them this is the right, this is the wrong. And then, you know, when you're dealing with adults, it's a choice. You may look at advising somebody, and then you are the one who ends up losing out, because now it becomes a whole element of drama day in, day out. So sometimes you just shun some kind of behaviors. Something called ground production rules that I set. They are ground rules. In fact, even the cast themselves, they know that maybe interacting boy-girl relationships in the production is prohibited unless out. So that it is a ground rule that applies all through. And then it becomes a disciplined team. Sometimes you have challenges whereby you have very indisciplined people but are very talented. How do you handle that? You need to cope with these challenges, because those are adults. Somebody will come into your rehearsal tipsy. It's not a crime in Kenya to drink. So when they come tipsy, you need to look at how best to handle such a situation, so that you are able to progress with the production without necessarily affecting the entire overall team. Because you know, peer pressure is there. There is competition. For instance, if I give an example of Kenyatta University, we are talking about 130 students, and a play only needs 40, you know. So when you're looking at 130 people and you need 40, we've even gone to an extent of splitting the team so that there are more. When you look at other teams like ZTech and other universities, you find that you have like 80 actors and you only need 20 for instance, there's a production we are doing. We're trying to do a sci-fi on stage, and actors are like 60 of them, but the player can only accommodate 20. So what happens? You put on ground rules that in case those who don't follow, then you have to shun them from the production. Work with those who are available, discipline team. The only challenge now is you may find a challenge whereby we have very indisciplined characters who are too talented. You can't lose them out. Look at how best to manage. There's something called production management. And then you create departments where you have spokespersons and you have stage managers. Those are things that you create and they're able to solve you a lot of hassle in production. But generally, the main solution to all this is just sobriety and upright-mindedness. That is the only solution to all this. You can't solve every problem that every person comes with.
And right before I go to the next question, I'd like to give Xavier the right to also respond shortly before we go to the next question. Xavier, your microphone, sir.
Sorry, it's really it's a very
challenge,
moving.
it's a challenge.
It's a moving topic. You know, it's a very sensitive one. I happen to be someone who probably has an lies towards the female in terms of production, like the schools that I teach. When I train drama, probably I tend to work well and I perform well when I direct a school that is encompassed by female. So probably maybe girls' schools, mostly in high school. And I don't know, probably it is motivated by having daughters that I really love, and I always take them for these events and show them the girls. Probably they have their role models from those girls. So when Derrick brings it out, even Nikai Minigusa to some extent, and I can tell you for free that it's really painful to have these kids coming out of school and then someone takes advantage of them. Yeah, and some of them, there's a point that Derrick has made that I really wanted to also add something on. The problem also comes from them. Why? A girl comes from school, probably university or high school, and wants to be in a production. Yeah, and the narrative out there is, if we do not sleep with the director or the producer, you're not going to get this position. You understand? So they come with that mentality already, and they're like, naweza kuja ni kuvisit or something, tuongee. They already suggest such an issue, and unakaa hivi, and you're like, you can really take advantage of that situation, because this is someone who's an adult, probably a 19-year-old, so hautashikwa. You understand? So it becomes really painful, because it has happened to me, I think 3 times, whereby there's a female artist, a very young female artist, wants to get into the industry. And at that time, I remember I was acting in this show called Wash and Set. It was ranking, and there's this what do you call it, perception that if you are an actor and then you are in a certain show, it is easy for you to connect. That is a very wrong perception. By the way, actors do not have power to do that. So if there's someone watching and probably pursue a certain actor, Xavier acts in this program, atanisaidia kuingia kwa hii show, you're being used. Yeah, ni kitu ni vizuri tuelezeane, you're being used. You just have to follow the right channel. Ni ngumu. Even me at this position now, probably Derrick, me na act kwa show zangu, because right now getting a gig is difficult, and I've been there, I have experience and everything. It is not easy. So don't take it at umeona leo Brenda Wairimu acting and you want to be like Brenda Wairimu. You have to ask her, I'll enter through what channel to get where she is right now. Yeah. So probably again, I'll go back to the topic of counseling. I have some. I'm always happy that even teachers from the schools I've never trained, they will refer their students to me for that particular transition of school to the professional. So probably that's what I can say.
Yeah, interesting that you say that, and at the same time, I see a lot of reactions in the comment section from Eunice Awino Olango, who says, "Nice forum, but I'm so pained. I can't count how many times I've been turned down. I mean, I've turned down sexual advances in this industry. I gave up, deleted my profile, and hoped to start again. But then I got a gig and wasn't paid, and got another gig, was made an extra because I refused to sleep with the director. Director Waswa, who determines what gets paid to the cast? Because apparently this discussion is becoming more concerned with the people that are actually in the industry, and I would love for you to respond to that.
The biggest determiner of the cast payment is the executive producer, and by definition, I would say the executive producer is the person who looks for funds for the project, or is funding, or is the one who has commissioned the project in a particular product station or client. So the executive is a person who will come up with specified budgets, of course, in conjunction with the production team, to know that, for instance, this commercial is we are being paid this amount of money to do this commercial, and then it will trickle down to the production manager, who has a budget. Of course, we have in the team, the production team, we have a production manager, who then will advise on terms of breakdown, who gets what and who gets what. But mostly you'll find that executive producers and directors are mostly in tandem, or maybe the same person. So in conjunction with the production manager, then they'll determine what costs where, what is paid to the location, what is paid to the equipment, what is paid to the actors, what is paid to wherever, food and everything. Unfortunately, unlike before, and I'm liking the revolution that most executives who are young are taking, whereby actors are being prioritized. Before, it used to be, the focus used to go on equipments first, then locations, transportation, lunch, then the actors are the last people. But with the growth of brands, and in the terms of art being something that is a professional that is recognized worldwide in terms of output, and something that is being recognized as a job and no longer a hobby. We've had a surge in an increase in the amount of costings that are being put to the actors. Now, the value of performance depends on the experience and the quality of work you provide, plus the amount of money the production house is also getting in terms of that kind of content. You'd find that we have really nice actors, but you do a project and it's not very high budget, so you'll find that your cost is not that high. But there are other big productions also, you find that you also paid higher. So, well, it's dependent on the kind of production, but also we have rogue producers who generally just don't pay well, and it's their choice. So it's not something we can talk about in terms. That's a moral issue that they can just sort with their God. Yeah.
Can you blacklist them?
In my view, that will be a bit personal. It's a personal decision. It's like if I choose to, for instance, I have 100,000, and in that 100,000, I know my expenses are 20. If I choose to pay my people remaining 20 and remain with the rest, that is a personal decision. That it's my selfishness and my personal decision. So if I go into naming and shaming people, I wouldn't know what they're going through, and probably I wouldn't know what they went through before they got that gig. So, but generally, I would advise that we are also fair in terms of how to balance our budget, so that we don't just actually look like we are using and dumping, so that we can be able to get proper, people can get value for their effort and talent. That is what I would advise. And I really try as much as possible before even doing shows. I try as much as possible to solicit for sponsors and what have you, because ordinarily, for instance, in stage plays, I've done a stage play in 2019, and I believe I tried my best to bring up on board the government, National Youth Council, Kenya Film Classification Board, and we had 32 CEOs coming to attend the show, including the Senate Speaker. And generally, my aim was to try and revolutionize the perception that these plays are just there for the poor and for the. So we got a little sponsorship, and we were able to share. My style is, I present what I have, and then I present my expenses. And then the actors themselves can decide how much they feel they are worth, and they get it. That is how I've actually operated. I've also had a TV series. I got a budget, and it was not very high. It was very low, but I got a team of people who are willing to do, of course, and I told them this is what is there. So I was very open and told them this is what I'm receiving. If you are able to accept, we can be able to work. If you are not able, and then I would maybe excuse you. Unlucky enough, we worked and did over 4 years of a running show in a very low budget. You wouldn't believe. And that is why I think executives need to come out clean, so that when you tell these people this is what you are getting, there's no miracle. If they want, they can do it. If they don't want, you get somebody who is willing to do it. That way, you wouldn't have complaints coming from people. But there are projects that are very extreme and they have high budget. You're doing a project worth millions. You can't involve people in something you've worked for 10 years, and you need to reinvest back. For instance, there are people who have invested largely in equipment and in pilots and everything, and they're doing a mega show. So you'll find they'll give you a standardized pay, not based on the output of the show, but based on what they feel you deserve. If you can work with it, then well and good. If you can't, there's somebody else who will take it. And I believe, provided whoever is doing the work is satisfied, and the producer is not actually misusing the actors, they are okay, and also the production is being run well, there is professionalism, there are basic ethics, there is breakfast, maybe lunch, there are basic rules of production that need to be provided so that the working situation is fair. So I think that way we can be able to work well. So executives and production managers work towards who earns what.
Xavier,
I
if I
have a
can bring it.
okay. Go
Okay.
on.
No, go ahead. I thought I wanted just to make a follow up, but it's okay. Go ahead, Vicky.
Okay, if it's a follow-up, because I'm now digressing to a whole different thing. Because
Yeah,
Mr.
my
Derek,
really last one, because you two have been going to the bathroom. I don't know what you're talking to each other, so I just want to make sure we are still on the same conversation. Xavier, if you were just to add on what Derek has put out there and determine the salaries, he has said he will put out what he has, and then the people will decide based on the expenses what should be shared among the cast. Is this your style, or do you go the type? Oh, nani ya mlambishe 20? Oh, nani ya huyo apate 5K? How do you deal with your cast to get your payments?
I would go with Derek's. Like I've been given 100,000 to do a movie. Let's say, for instance, a movie. I think it will be responsible of me, because I remember there was a time I was in a production whereby they were hiring what we call a reflector. Yes, at that time a reflector was going for 3,000, and there was an actor that was on set that was being paid 1,000 bob. So I was like, I mean, a reflector is more expensive than an actor. You understand? And I think it wasn't done responsibly, because, as Derek puts it, leo tunasikizana Derek sana. The way he has put it, that you have to plan. Understand? You have to plan. Probably you can look at how heavy is your production? How heavy in terms of cast, crew, and all that? Yeah, it is your responsibility now as because also you as a director, or probably the writer, you have to get paid. Yeah, from that 100,000. So I would like I've seen as it's been done severally. People will go for this low cost, the two tires, or probably even one person acting in a movie. It's very possible, yeah. So you maximize in terms of paying the cast. At the end of the day, the better you pay a cast or an actor, the better the performance. Me, like the day I went and I was doing an advert, and I was being told my salary is 250,000. My friend, I wasn't even thinking of going home, because I knew I'm going to give my all. These people are paying me. I have to give my all, because the money they're going to pay me, I'll never see it for a few months. It motivated me. So personally, as I'm doing a movie, probably with a small budget, I need to consider that I need to motivate my actors. Why do I have 100,000 shillings and then my cast has over 60 people? It's like you're paying people 100 bob whatever you're doing. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So you have to budget well, if you ask me.
One of the things that I would love to even look at, now that we're talking casts, I would want to move a bit from cast, because now we're talking expenses and so on and so forth. In terms of filming expenses, I know that locations are very, very important for productions. How do you now factor in location? And how does location come in when you're looking at your film and so on and so forth and your production? Because I know that there are people who have houses and whatnot. What is the whole process behind location?
Okay, I take that. Yeah. Probably this is it's a problem I'm experiencing at the moment. I'm currently trying to do a web series, and I have some locations that I have to do now, because it's a zero budget. And when talking about zero, it's like we can't pay people, just probably getting them fare and all. I have like 1,000 people in my house right now, because we're working together. So like if we're eating skuma, we'll eat together, So I try to minimize. I have a very small cast, the way I put it, and I have also minimized my crew. And part of it, I left out some of the crew members that we can double. Like I'm acting, partly directing, and I'm also doing locations. Then after we finish doing a shoot, the AD is like, we have a hotel scene tomorrow. Have you found a hotel? You see, it becomes a problem. Now, this is because we lack someone called the location scout. That person is really important. Like when the scripts are ready, he goes through the script, he starts mapping out, and if it's a location that we need for free, probably a house, we need a mansion, and probably we don't have one on a personal level. Excuse me. What happens is our scout has to go around looking for those ones, and probably be like, okay, I've gotten a house in Runda, and it belongs to a relative, and they've said they'll not be there on Sunday. We can shoot Lakini for maybe an hour or two. You understand? That is when it's really, really important that you have this scout, because right now we're having a really big problem. Because according to me, I was to finish this interview, then go get my lines. But now I have to finish this interview, then I start scouting, because now I took that responsibility. So those are those important crew members that are really important.
And then another thing, now that we are also in this, you mentioned a few things about limiting the crew and so on and so forth. Now, when we look at this, whether it's an advantage or disadvantage, we're now going to an aspect of post production and the marketing strategies that need to come up after that. You have limited crew, that means you probably also do not have a marketer on board. Should actors market production? And also another aspect is, even though you have marketers on board, is it the actor's job to also market production?
No, it's not their job. It's not their job at all. At all, it's not their job. But you can have an understanding. The way I put it, like some people who do the casting, yeah, they end up looking for, one of the reasons why we can get some people follow every time you see Waswa is in this production, is in the next production, because I know Waswa has a following. So probably I'll ask, especially now that I'm doing a web series, yeah, I have some people on my cast and crew that I will depend on in terms of sharing, because we need views, and probably we are going to put M-Pesa till number there, hopefully to get something to compensate the little money that we've used in the production. So I will need this guy. So it is not the responsibility of an actor. Actor kazi yake ni kuja, act, and then go home. If you've not paid that person, probably akuache na blessings zake kama ameenda. Yeah, but as a person, could you develop as a person, as an actor? For instance, I'm acting, say, on Ocean Set. I need pia to have my own viewers. So, and I want to sell myself as like a soccer player who wants to get known. I will have my people telling them to share maybe a piece of maybe an extract from the show. Please, Abu share this, or an advert that I've done. I have to share it. So I'm doing an advert, but again, I'm sharing that advert. I'm actually helping in marketing. Yeah. So partly it's your personal responsibility, but it's not your work.
It is Derrick shaking his head for me. You remember the whole Pascal Tokodi saying when he met the president, Ona Selena, Ona Selena.
Yeah.
So, Derrick, please talk to us, because you have
I
shook your
need
head the whole time.
I am disagreeing with Xavier, because he's saying that it is not the actor's responsibility to market the show. On paper it is not, but in actual sense it is, because it is the actor's responsibility to display what they are doing, to show prosperity in the production, and to ensure that the production is successful. Without the production being successful, the actor is nothing. Without the production being there, the actor is nothing. And it's unfortunate that you would go into a production shoot and just walk out, not even having taken a picture, not even having memories about it. It airs, you don't know, you are not aware. I mean, what sort of an actor are you? That is being lazy. When you go on set as an actor, it is personal discipline to ensure that you are able to accustom yourself with what production it is, where it will air, when, and what time. So that when it comes to airing, you need to display it out so that people are able to accept it, and so that it is accepted and it is marketable. If we are not marketing our own productions, who will? Of course, there are marketing departments, but marketing departments is like a family. A production house is like a family. When a father provides, children can't come and just keep breaking utensils, and because it's not their work to keep them safe. That is one family that needs to work together. The entire production house, the moment you are there, it is your responsibility to ensure that the mobility of the production is in good light. As a matter of fact, it is your responsibility to bear any losses and consequences should there be. If on Twitter you are being attacked, you should stand by your production and say, we are fine, and sort your issues the way they are supposed to. You can't, I mean, you need to be there. You need to work with your production. I need to see, hey guys, my name is this and this, my name is Derrick, I've acted in this and this, kindly check me out, advise me, give us comments. That is a principal importance of an actor. If not, what other responsibility does an actor have? You are being given lines to say. You are being given directions to follow. You are being given costumes. You are being dressed. You are being fed. So you are just picking lines. I mean, that is reckless and unfortunate. So I wouldn't expect that actors come on set, especially my set, and expect not to market. In fact, if you're doing a production that maybe I'm involved in, I would advise that you are the top marketer. You are on the forefront to market the show and ensure that it has the biggest views. It is compulsory. No two ways about it. Even if I'm not paying you, you are there. We are there with you. You will market. Just yeah.
If we die, we die together. That is
We
it.
die
Remember,
together because you are earning.
compulsory. Remember, it is compulsory. That is what you've been told. That is how
Victoria.
I'm speaking from today. It is compulsory, guys. Kufa captain, kufa kila mtu. That is it.
Kuzikana kufa
Kila mtu.
ikianguka tunaanguka wote, ikiinuka tunainuka wote. Kwani wewe unakula mshahara tu ya kuonekana? We ni nani?
Victoria.
Wait. Ati when,
Victoria.
can we edit that out? Ati when, ati when nani?
Huyo actor anakuja aje kula mshahara tu alafu asemi kitu. Yeye ni nani?
Allah.
Haiwezekani.
Victoria.
Xavier. But I like the fact that she started out by saying it is not on paper.
Yes, it's not on paper, but it's your responsibility.
So, Derrick reminds me of a certain MP from where we come from called before you are calling. Derrick is a dictator.
Hata kama ni mbaya utabaki.
Derrick comes out as a very strict teacher. You know, I get what he's saying. Because let me agree and disagree at the same time.
No, you can't. You just choose a way.
No, you also
choose a way. Hakuna ati I'm agreeing and no. Choose one way.
Wait.
If we are going there, Basi, he needs to withdraw that it's not on
market
paper.
or unmarket.
So I'll respond first on paper. Then we respond about
market or unmarket.
Who mute Derrick?
Goja. Xavier ameambiwa pick a struggle. A struggle.
Skiza. The fact is, it is not the responsibility. Una understand? Hata unapomlipa huyo msanii, hujamlipa kukumarketia show. You understand?
Producer, please remove Derrick from
Hakuna basi. Wewe wacha ibaki hivyo hujamlipa.
No.
Usiseme ati basi. Wacha ibaki tu. Hata Lupita anaekaga 12 years as slave.
Now,
Derrick is quiet, but his face is speaking like 10,000 words in a second. Xavier, go.
Miguna. Ushahidi beti na Miguna. Huwezi ongewa. Derrick. I'll take you
Xavier,
to
please
Canada.
go on.
So what I'm trying to say is, Mimi, I can walk into a production, I can act, and I can live. You understand? I'd get paid and just sit at home. It is not my work. I'm in a Safaricom advert. Safaricom is expecting me to start wako na watu wao wa kudisseminate hiyo information yenye nime act. My work is only to come on set and to do what? To act and go. That is my position. However, please mute the row. Wanataka kuongea. However,
it's the face
yes,
for me. It's the face for me.
Let me put a kikombe here so that I don't see him. Yeah, now I can't see him. However, kuna ile kitu inaitwa personal development. I'm sure even Lupita Nyong'o, as Derrick has put it, if she has acted in 12 Years Slave, ama whichever production amekuwa, the effect of that movie italetwa na wale watu wanaitwa marketers wa that particular production. Wenye maandiko, Hollywood has their own people. They probably even don't need Lupita to do it, but for her own meaning, for her own consumption. You understand? Wewe mwenyewe unajua labda una need one or two things, especially probably in Kisumu, where Lupita probably comes from, ata need hiyo kitu iende hapo, kuna followers on Facebook. But still, it's not her responsibility. The word is responsibility, and that is why it is not on paper. Your producer cannot call you and ask you, Victoria, why haven't you shared the production that we have done? You understand? Hauwezi uliza mtu yoyote as an actor, and I'm telling people that, though I understand. For instance, I do like when I do my shows, I have to share a poster. I tell everyone in the group, niaje kindly, and use the word kindly. It is not a must. Kindly to share hii poster, tufanye nini? Tuonekane tuzapata clients. It is not the responsibility of that actor anaweza kata. Such because hata share your poster, utamfuta kazi.
Elizabeth, it's compulsory. Derrick
can
needs
we
to
have
go
a
out
meeting
of the
together?
screen.
Because I believe Xavier and Victoria are misleading people.
It's not a must.
I'm always here to wait, Victoria. I'm always here to moderate, but on this one I must speak.
No.
So Derrick,
Ellie usually,
if they are not going to market, what should we do with them?
No, let me tell you, Ellie is of the same mind, because you should see us on the production. I know already today, because I have not been very active in marketing this week. He's coming for me. He's already. I know after the show, I will get some hair. But
Amanda
I am. But here I am.
Captain, help me out. Make Victoria understand why they have to be part of the production.
Ellie, I have been here. I have done my part. I have, I've showed up. Mine is to come and live.
No, it's not supposed to be like that.
But we have a marketing team. We have a marketing team that is set up for marketing. They are set for marketing. We pay them for marketing. So why, if I'm gonna go and do recite lines, I'm gonna go do research, I'm gonna go in front of my mirror 20 hours. So you want me to come and do somebody else's job as well?
No. It's not about doing somebody else's job.
Derrick, labda napatianaga bundles. Yo, me pia nitakasirika. I've sent people bundles like, guys, here's 100 bob, please go and share this on social media. That is your responsibility. It becomes a responsibility.
No.
He doesn't.
No, I don't. Let me. This is the principal arrangement in a production. For instance, a theater production. You earn your money from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have your nuclear people first, your friends, your relatives, and before you invite strangers to come and attend your show. Those people, you do something called multi-level marketing. When you're doing a show and you don't share it, you don't market it as an actor, and you depend on the salary that is coming from that production, for instance, are you normal? Where will you get your money? I'm not saying it's your responsibility, but are you normal?
Let's find out if we are normal
You're not.
after this break.
You're not being normal.
Derrick.
You are not being normal because you are failing. You are failing. You are failing in your responsibility to earn your money. If people don't turn up, you don't get paid. So it is your responsibility to make your money.
Xavier, we came back. No, he said it is not your responsibility, but then it is your responsibility in your earning of your money. That is what he's saying.
Okay.
Yes, if you don't
this discussion has a yes and a no. You understand?
No. Just market. Just market. Market.
You understand? Skiza. I remember in the last session I told you, how I work with my cast. I give you tickets and ask you to market it. You understand? It is a request. You cannot.
Can we take a break? Can we take a break?
Sure.
No. We have to market. We have to market.
We will market. We will take
What's
a break.
Tuuze show tupate pesa. In that case, why is it that marketers get commissions? If it's their work.
They are working for
why is it that?
Let's take a break, gentlemen. Let's take a break. We will be back and we will find out if we need to be marketing or not, because I'm equally of a person of interest when it comes to this discussion. We'll be right back after this break, gentlemen. Remember, you're watching Art in Heart. You can always follow the cast live on Facebook, YouTube, and the handle is the Arts in Heart on Facebook and the Arts in Heart on YouTube. That is the Arts in Heart official. Talk of unnecessary adverts that a lot of creatives are making, rather people that are supposed to be selling products.
Umewahi kulipa hongo, halafu ukaona hapa nimelipa nyingi? Na je, umewahi itisha za macho, halafu upate walishakuanika Facebook, itakuwaje? Basi habari maalum kutoka Hongo Industries wanakuletea app murwa kabisa ya Hongera the Bribe Calculator. Hongera the Bribe Calculator iko na uwezo wa kukutafutia mfisadi mwenzako aliyeko maeneo. Inakutafutia huduma kwa ofisi yoyote unayohitaji na inakuletea mfisadi atakayekusaidia kupata huduma bila kupiga line wala kungoja. Hongera imetengenezwa na wataalamu waliohitimu kufanya ufisadi kutoka ofisi mbalimbali. Hongera, ubaya wa kora. Hongo Industries, tule pamoja. Ai Njeri, ni wewe ulipika njahi na gas? Mbona ukakaranga matumbo pia? Ukaongezea na kupika githeri? Sasa gas imeisha, tufanyaje? Usijali, tunakuletea makaa. Makaa inawaka bila gas, bila mafuta taa, pumzi ya kupuliza tu ama gazeti ya kupepeta. Makaa inapika paka mawe. Makaa, hata mamako anajua makaa. Makaa. Gas ni ya pizza na vitu vya heshima.
Well, talk about unnecessary ads, and that is just for laughs. Don't take it that serious. We have Senior Jerry Nato on bench, who has been laughing all through, and Victoria was like, "No way, kuna hongera up. I want that one to be connected."
I am stuck at the Hongera app. Alafu I am stuck at the part where they say maka no gas there vitu za heshima. What? Kama pizza. As in Mukoda Manendo. I need to find that director.
I know Xavier. Xavier has an interesting piece we've seen, Helter Skelter. We'll talk about it. But why is it important to play these clips? It's to go back to the idea of scripting. What do you make of that script, Director Waswa?
Which one specifically?
Let's start with the one of Hongera. Did you get the Hongera one? Okay, fine. Let's get the Maka one. How do you find the Maka script and the Hongera one?
Yeah, there are nice concepts, and although I don't know who's the person behind it.
He's our producer.
Mr. Derrick, exactly.
Okay.
And then just to put this out there, Maka has never had an advert. Nyi mshaiona advertisement ya Maka kwenye screen yenu za jamani. So now let's take this and think exactly. And in the point of advertising your own work, Maka is never advertised and it still sells. It still
But it's quite interesting that they have advertised Maka, but there are things that I've noticed from a personal standpoint, which maybe they will pull in.
Yep.
Suppose I go to buy Maka, whichever place, how will whoever came up with that advert benefit?
That's why it's called unnecessary adverts. Like there are adverts that shouldn't be made, but you see people advertising ads and you're like, was that necessary?
Yes.
So these are mimic of that.
Yeah. And then also, I wouldn't. Most important meals. So pizza is chapati important, for instance, because they say the gas near the maana.
Heshima. Exactly.
Yeah, you would question, but it's an interesting advert. You could have finished it in the 10 seconds. Yeah.
Xavier.
It will really have made an impact. I was waiting for something. Maybe the where to buy the Maka, especially there. Maybe there's a special Maka that is a bit cheaper and can last for longer than the normal Maka. That one should have been added. It's a necessary advert. Just tweaking a few things.
But the Hongera app had
Hongera app. Yes, Hongera app is very amazing. In fact, that one should be on air by now. To pick people like Xavier and put them in one basket.
Xavier, please, what do you think of that unnecessary ad for the Hongera app?
Okay, personally, I have a penchant for comedy, especially when you're talking about fast comedy. And this whoever did this is a genius, if you ask me, because of the fact that I've never thought of playing sarcasm in an advert like that. Probably it's not. There's no such product, but this guy is bringing in sarcasm, and I wish this thing can go viral. On social media about there's an app for you if you're going somewhere and you need to bribe someone. Unaingia say ofisi ya Xavier kwa mlango unaingia kwa Hongera, then unapata kuna mtu hapo anaitwa Eli, so you go to Eli and then Eli will sort you out. It's inakusaidia to mob. So to me it's sarcasm. Imefika wakati our country has corruption is so much paka it looks normal. Unaenda unafanya kitu paka mtu anakuambia you've done something, a duty, but you're still being paid. You're working for Posta. You've just delivered a package to someone's house and that person tells you thank you so much na nakupatia pesa. So ni kitu naweza taka if I can get a link to that, pia mimi naweza taka kushare tu sana.
Kwanza think about the aspect right before you jump forward. Think about the aspect of where you are going for an essential service and you probably are in a government situation, which tunajua sana, and then these people who tell you, usitume kwa mpesa, usitume kwa mpesa. Imagine this app, how good it would be if you can send money as well in the Hongera app. And I'm not giving any ideas. I am not giving any ideas, but continue.
Yeah, I think I think my connection in Mbaya, but I get it as in those are the things we are talking about, not like a product. Unajua, not like a product. Like and the Makar thing. I think these guys are genius. When you look at the Makar thing, it's like so essential in terms of energy. Hata sisi wenye tuko na gas cooker bado we use makaa to some extent, so those things of it's not really marketing, because definitely si ati kuna kampuni ya makaa wana advertise, so it's just about creativity. Mi naiangalia creativity, and the Hongera one killed me. Now I can tell you for free that is the best thing I've had today.
Well, gentlemen, I suppose we had to bring that out just to even out things here and there. But as we conclude, we've seen the power of script and storytelling. One important part is you've had some interesting jingles that go into that advert, and as a producer or a director, why do you choose some specific music to put in your script? And eventually air it out as it plays along. Director Waswa.
Music is very essential in terms of tone, mood, especially the mood, because music helps in defining and expressing the current mood. You get that there are jingles that would be exciting and there are somber jingles. So based on the content that you're presenting, soundtrack is very key in terms of being able to just get the right mood and tone. That is why you'd find that in films, for instance, when you have tension scenes, highly paced up scenes, there are tension soundtracks that are being used. They actually enhance your mood and create anticipation, and also enhance your suspense. Equally in love scenes, you find that there is you want to listen to soft and soothing music that brings you close to the scene. So basically, music is very essential in terms of creating the specific moods of particular places. Some jingles are also used to just depict the environment. You may use a jingle of an ambulance to just even before the sight of the ambulance itself, so that the audience has in mind there is an ambulance approaching, or maybe there is a doorbell being sounded. Those are basic things that are used in film to just depict environment and create a particular mood. It is essential that we use the correct kind of sound in particular places and scenes, so that our audiences also create. You are able to create believability. I watched a film and I could not believe, because it was a bongo film. It was a love scene, but the tension in the house was very high based on the soundtrack that was playing. There was too much, nakupenda mpenzi wangu, you don't add up. So when you're choosing your soundtrack, it is very essential that you have a sound person and sound engineers or composers who are able to just advise. And it is advisable that when you're doing that work, you do it when you are sober, because there are things when you do when you are not in your right frames of mind, you get excited and lose out very fast. So that is basically the importance of music. Yeah.
Vicky, you want to bring in Xavier, because I know we are really out of time and we must continue with this conversation next week, because we have a whole month set up for that.
Yeah.
Vicky?
Xavier, do you have anything to add? And also, just as we are drawing closer, just in a few seconds, add in your closing remarks as well, please.
When it comes to sound effects, it's really important because it enhances the mood. Yeah, it just as Derrick has explained, if you are talking about something that is tension, especially those guys who love horror movies, it creates that anticipation for a certain scene if it's a horror movie. Also in comedy, comedy is really difficult. So when you're playing some sound effects, yeah. Vis-a-vis, let's say, sound effects to that extent, whereby you need to prepare or probably give your audience some anticipation, some funny sound, and then someone's expression. Probably when you're not using sound effects, the emotions won't come out as you would want them to come. So it's a very important part of production. Maybe that's all I can say, because I think Derrick has covered most of it. Again, thank you so much for bringing in the two guys from West Kenya to come and probably contribute what they have. It's really an honor being here. And it also helps us expand our minds. And I hope our viewers are enjoying and probably learning, because it's not just having fun here. There's also some bit of learning here and there. And I hope in the near future we're going to work with most of them, because that's what we're angling ourselves toward. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you very much, Xavier. Mr. Derrick, do you have any final remarks before we close, please? We can't hear you, sir. Go on.
Thank you so much for having had me in the session. I believe that we've covered a really broad spectrum in terms of production. And as an upcoming actor, take your time, learn where your strengths are. Don't rush into them. Most people would really be interested to be in front of the camera, but they are strong behind the camera. So you may need to learn your craft really well and to know where your strength is, so that you don't waste a lot of time chasing what you actually do. You are passionate about, but you're not talented in. Away from that, I would encourage actors to, for the sake of their brands, to just market your show. Market your show. It is important. Don't market one. Market. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Director Waswa. Vicky,
Yeah.
Your final words before we call it an end, a wrap.
Just thank you for watching the show, guys, and please do not forget to follow us on all our social media accounts at The Arts in Heart. Also tune in tomorrow, same time, 8:30 p.m. at The Arts in Heart on YouTube and on Facebook, where we'll be having the family edition with Eli Lipiani and Nyokabi DK Kamal. Also remember on Sunday that we have another show where we are discussing Against All Odds with a very special guest. So don't forget to tune into that, and we will see you next week. And then for Ellie and the others, you'll see them tomorrow and on Sunday.
Don't worry, Vicky. I'll be casting you more often on the weekend editions because I know you love them. And just market. That's all I can say. Just market your show.
It is not your responsibility.
I have heard you.
I leave you with one more unnecessary ad, and then you will be enjoying the rest of your evening. So until next time, see you. My name is Liquiani Alien for the rest of the crew. And remember, the producer, who is one of our producers that is working with us, is behind the unnecessary ads. And yes, I'll be sharing the link later on this link. So do stay there and have a beautiful weekend.
Kuna time unajipata kwa mkahawa unangoja mtu na hauna kakitu. Unajipata kwa hoteli, pesa zimeisha. Unaengoja, amechelewa. Unahesabu senti ni 2 zimebaki. Waiter anakuuliza upishe watu wakae. Jasho linatoka. Usitie shaka, kwani kahawa ndio chaguo lako. Ni kahawa bila maziwa, ikienda sana ni 200. Kunywa kahawa, ficha uhaba wa pesa. Piga picha, shtua mitandao. Coffee, hiding poverty since 1900. Usilambe chupa, kunywa kahawa. Usilambe chupa, kunywa kahawa.